Thai high. Thailand to give away 1 million free marijuana plants. Let's see, Thailand's government will give away 1 million free cannabis plants for home cultivation come June. People of Thailand are certain to be in high spirits come next month, when the government will give away 1 million free cannabis plants for home cultivation. Thailand's public health minister, who has spearheaded the country's drive to decriminalize weed, announced in a Facebook post Sunday the government will distribute 1 million of the plants when most legal restrictions on production and possession of the drug are lifted in June. Public Health Minister Anutin Charnvirakul added that people would be able to grow as many cannabis plants as they like at their homes. Wow. Even here in New York, you're limited to like 3 mature and 3 immature plants. In February, Charnvirakul signed a measure officially dropping cannabis, best known in the form of marijuana, from a list of controlled drugs. Closely regulated use of cannabis was legalized in 2018, with several restrictions gradually eased since then. I can just imagine they're going to attract a lot of tourists now. Right? And remember, Thailand before the pandemic, they got like 40 million tourists a year, the #1 in the world. Before anybody else. #1 in tourism. So, can you imagine now with marijuana being legal, what it's going to look like? Gee, probably 60 million. Thai officials hope that a major new cannabis industry will bloom, not only generating hundreds of millions of dollars directly each year, but also attracting foreign tourists, right, just like I said, who have only recently begun returning in large numbers after being largely absent during the COVID-19 pandemic. When the measure goes into effect June 9th, possessing and using all parts of cannabis plants, including flowers and seeds, will be allowed. However, extracted content will remain illegal if it contains more than 0.2% of the psychoactive ingredient that produces a high, tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. Anutin declared that individuals will no longer need to obtain a permit to grow cannabis at home, as long as it is declared to be for medicinal purposes and does not have THC content above the legal maximum. Thai officials have not explained how the conditions can be enforced, and they probably wouldn't. Large-scale growing operations will still need permission from the country's Food and Drug Administration to make cannabis products, which are seen as being used mainly for medicines and food additives. The Food and Drug Administration received about 4,700 applications by late April for licenses to import, possess, grow, and produce cannabis and hemp, the Bangkok Post newspaper reported. Anutin's Bomjai Thai Party, a major partner in the coalition government, campaigned in the 2019 general election for the legalization of cannabis production, saying it would benefit farmers. I guess it would. So the Thais are way ahead of the the federal government here in the United States, it still has marijuana as illegal. It's one of those controlled drugs. And if you trace it back to the 1930s, I think it was Harry Anslinger was his name. He was in the Bureau of, Bureau of Narcotics or something like that. And the main reason for marijuana being illegal was really racist, that if black people smoke it, if Filipino people smoke it, and so forth, the so-called darkies people, if they smoke it, then, it's like the devil will come out. That's what it is. So that's how marijuana ended up being banned. I'm gonna see if I find a link and put it here. People can read the article why marijuana was banned in the U.S. But nevertheless, I have to say, when I first went to Thailand in 2004, at the airport, my first time at the airport, I saw the sign saying that drugs are illegal and there's a death penalty. It didn't specify what type of drugs. So, anybody who is bringing in drugs probably will be shaken just to see that sign that says anybody bringing in drugs in their luggage is the death penalty. And it didn't specify whether it's marijuana, whether it's heroin, whether it's methamphetamine. All it said was a death penalty for those bringing in. So we go from 2004, when I first went to Thailand and saw that sign, and now you can actually soon in I guess June the 9th this year. If you're living in Thailand, you can grow marijuana legally and smoke it. Isn't that something? Now that's what I call progress. And the truth is, a country like Thailand, you don't expect something like that because it's such a, it's conservative in a way. Forget about the sex industry. But once you step out of that arena, the sex industry, it's a very conservative country. So I'm surprised, Yeah. I remember somebody said he got a fine for a cigarette butt. Yeah. And he doesn't smoke. And the police gave him a fine. This was in Bangkok. There was a cigarette butt just lying there on the ground. I think it was where the train station is. And the police said, well, that's yours. No, it's not. And he got a fine. How are you going to fight something like that? Very unfortunate.